Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's head-to-head comparison, let's take a look at the 2025 Audi S3 and the 2025 Subaru WRX TS. Now I borrowed the Audi from Audi Northlake. Take a look at their website, that link is down in the description, along with the full detailed reviews that I made on both of these models if you want to see them in greater details. Now let's start off with the MSRPs for both of these sedans. For the S3, they start around $48,700. The WRX starts around $45,700, so a little bit less. But also in today's review, let's talk about the pricing and the horsepower, because this WRX is kind of in between the A3 and the S3. It has a lot more power than the A3, a little bit less than this S3, as you will see, and the pricing is somewhat in the middle. So at least for the performance that you get from this WRX, we will compare it to this S3. So underneath the hood for the Subaru, this has the 2.4 liter flat 4 turbo boxer engine. It is only paired to the 6-speed manual transmission, and it pumps out 271 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. Now for the S3, this has a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder turbo, only paired to a 7-speed automatic, and it pumps out 328 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque. Now both of these are all-wheel drive. They have a 100-pound curb weight difference, 3,500 pounds for the Audi, 3,400 for the Subaru. 0 to 60 is going to be a full second quicker for the Audi at 4.5 seconds versus 5.5 seconds. Top speed is 155 for the Audi, 145 for the Subaru. And then as far as fuel economy goes, 23 miles per gallon in the city, 31 out on the highway for the Audi, and then 19 and 26. So like I mentioned earlier, the Subaru is kind of in between the A3 and the S3. But let's move on to the exterior styling now, where you will notice with the Subaru, functional inlet in the hood to provide additional cooling to that top-mounted components underneath the engine. You will notice too a lot of gloss black with the WRX badge. There's a small housing for the LEDs up front. There's also fog lights down below where there's a lot more cutouts. Everything is plastic too, so note that for a lot of the trim accents. For the Audi, this has a much larger grille. There's parking sensors. We have a much larger headlight design too, and some gloss black accents in the lower section, just to give it a little bit more of that luxury vibe versus the Subaru there. So a much different look. We kind of have a hexagonal design for both of them, however, for those grills, and then some nice lines coming down the Audi. Now, as we work our way to the side, you will notice we have some very different wheels. For the Audi, two-tone design with those 2 pistons up front, and then with the Subaru, you get 6-piston brake calipers up front, finished off in gold there. You'll notice more of that plastic cladding for the fender arches and the lower side skirt for the Subaru. You get gloss black accents for the Audi, and then not really much of a fender flare, but you have those normal lines running throughout it. Now the Subaru has gloss black with the turn signal on the mirrors. You get power folding on this, carbon fiber is an option, and then there's the turn signal too. The Audi also has a sunroof, no sunroof for the WRX. And then as we take a look at the side profiles, kind of similar. The Audi is a little bit smaller, but you get a lot more angular lines running down the side versus the Subaru. You do get a small one back here for that entire rear section, however. And then in back, there's the gloss black spoiler, a lot more gloss black accents surrounding the taillights there. Plastic for the entire lower section of that bumper, and then there's the quad tip dual exhaust. And then as we take a look at the cargo space, you have quite a lot of room for this model. There's also a little bit of storage underneath the floor, and you can fold the back seats down to give yourself that much more interior space for its sizing. Now for the Audi, carbon fiber again, which is an option for this model. There's LEDs, you get gloss black for the lower bumper there, and then a quad tip dual exhaust, just like you saw on the Subaru. And then we have the same release for the trunk there, where you get a little bit of space and you can fold the back seats down too. So pretty similar in those aspects. Now for these smaller size sedans, let's take a look at the back seat space. So for this model, you'll notice that we do get some carbon fiber accents on the interior, all these blue accents too, and then you get the suede and two-tone design for these seats. Now at 5'10", I have a good bit of space. There's storage pockets, you get some auxiliaries down below, and then I have maybe a couple centimeters of headroom. I'm basically touching the headliner, but I can sit upright and fit comfortably. Right in the middle, you have the armrest and 2 cup holders, and then a small pillar there, so you can easily see around that. As we work our way to the Audi, you do get proximity door handles, so you can unlock this from the back. And then we have a much different interior, of course, with some lighting, Alcantara, a little bit of storage down below, and then Nappa leather seats for this particular model. So we get the genuine leather. Now, again, at my height, I have a good bit of space. There's storage nets. You have the vents, temperature, and some auxiliaries down below. And then nearly identical, my head is just touching the headliner here. So for these smaller size vehicles, they are still suitable for adults to ride in the back. You get the armrest with the cup holders there. And then in this model, you have an additional window between the door and the back there. So it splits up that pillar slightly, so that way you can see around it. Now, like I said, I have the full detailed reviews, so I'm just going to go over some of the highlights. We have memory seating adjustments, power folding side mirrors, which are also heated too, and then a very nice set of seats here. We have the control down below to start this up, where we have solid and perforated leather, paddle shifters for this. You have tuning, Bluetooth, and voice commands. And then real quick, we'll go through the virtual cockpit. So you have a little bit of information that you can go through here, even pull up that nav in full screen when that is ready to go here. So you can view that and then get through the rest of this information. You have distance pacing, storage on this left side, all of your headlight adjustments. There's an air vent on both sides there. This also has a lot more interior lighting that runs around this brushed gray trim accent. And then you have quite a lot to go through for the infotainment system with all of these icons that you can get into, navigation, you can pair your phone, go through all of that. You do get another screen for all the climates with your temperature adjustments, and you even have heated seats. And then you have a few different driving modes that you can get through with the drive select. You have traction control, engine start stop, shortcut to the camera system, parallel parking, and some driving assistance. There's also wireless charging. You have some more audio adjustments. Here is the backup camera with the top-down view there. And then you have park, cup holders down below, a little bit of space in the armrest, along within the glove box. And then up top, you get garage door buttons, touch-sensitive dome lights, and then a sunroof and the sunshade there. And then here's a look at visibility over the right side, and then over the left side. You can easily see all around. So as we work our way to the Subaru now, the door panel has a nice design to it, no power folding side mirrors for this, and of course we have a little bit different of a shape there. You do get some recaro seats, so I would say a little bit more bolstering support, a little bit more sporty focused than in the Audi, and then we only have the manual transmission. You get a leather steering wheel, some of the same adjustments for your cruise, distance pacing, volume, Bluetooth, all of that. And then we have adjustments down below for the gauge cluster. Now it's not quite as configurable. So you have a few different settings that you can go through, and you have 3 different screens you can look at too. So you can pull up the navigation when that loads. And then you also have the distance pacing, your steering assist with info on the left and the right. And then you can go back to this screen here where you can view your tach and your miles per hour. So it's nice that you have at least a few that you can get into. Now on the left side, no storage. You have traction control, trunk release, there's 1 air vent. And then with the infotainment system, you have a nice layout for this. There's presets in the upper section, so that way you can have those set up and ready to go. You have your music underneath that, your home screen here where you can get through all these icons. A little bit different of a layout compared to the Audi, of course, but you can easily get through all of this information and set this up as needed. Now there's no wireless charging, but you have a bunch of auxiliaries. And then with the backup camera and this, it's just on the upper section there, but nonetheless, you still have that, which is nice. You get some storage, some cup holders down below. The armrest is actually really far back. Interesting to see that placement, but you can use that with the auxiliary. And then you have more storage down below, some more trim accents, and some Alcantara for this model. There's no garage door buttons up top, and then you have your dome lights just behind that. And then even though that pillar in the back is slightly different, I'd say you still have a good bit of visibility for this sedan as well. So with the exteriors and the interiors wrapped up for both of these sporty sedans, let's get them out on the road and see how they compare. So let's start off behind the wheel for the S3. And with a mild acceleration, we're up to speed. This has double what I'm doing today. There's a lot of performance with this smaller size sedan. But this is a great vehicle to drive. It is very luxury focused, as an Audi should be. We have a lot of nice materials, especially for this model being pretty much fully loaded. There's a lot of nice accents and everything. But as far as it drives, it's very nice. We have the suspension settings, so you can go through a few different of those depending on how you like to drive. But it's a well-refined vehicle, as you expect from a luxury brand like Audi. There's really no road noise, wind noise. It's a premium feeling vehicle if this is what you're looking to get. Now, you only have the automatic, but it is a quick and crisp shifting automatic. So you can put that power down and just go and go. Seats are also very comfortable too. They're a little bit wide. I'm not a very big person, but I have some space on both sides. So a little bit more of a comfortable style seat, something meant for long trips, anything like that. So it's a nice seating position to be in. And overall, it's a great vehicle. We have a lot of nice user-friendly interface with all of the tech and everything, and I really don't have any complaints. Now, my brother and his wife have owned an A3, S3, and currently own an RS3, so if you want to see some ownership experience with more experience, you can check out those videos. This is kind of my first impressions with it, and I like it. I'm a big fan of Audi. I think they have some very nice models that you can drive and get into, but the A3, very sporty for this model. But let's hop into the WRX. And behind the wheel now for the Subaru. This is definitely a fun vehicle. It's more on the tuner side with what you get with this model, but it's very fun to drive. I've only had this for a day so far, so check out the full detailed review as well as taking this to the mountains to really see some more experience and seat time with this vehicle. But this is a great vehicle to drive so far, and we do have the driving modes too. So that way you can adjust how you want this to drive. If you want to be in comfort mode for just normal driving, or you can put it into Sport Plus for back roads, mountain driving, you just want a little bit stiffer of a feel. It's really nice that you can go between those just depending on how you feel for the day. Even with it in Sport Plus though, I don't have any complaints with it. It's a little bit on the stiffer side, but obviously that's what you would expect. You also sit pretty low in this, as expected with the other Model 2. You can see the bulge in that hood though, which is really nice. Seems pretty quiet and comfortable. Clutch pedal is very light too. Shifter's pretty engaging. I wish it was a little bit more of a short throw style, so that would be a modification I would do day one, just to get a little bit more feedback. It still has some, but I would probably do that just to feel a little bit more of that engagement. But it's a fun car. We do have some plastics in here. Seats are also very comfortable too. And as we get back up to speed, sounds good. Not too aggressive or too loud. Doesn't really have that boxer vibe to it with the tone of that engine, but I'm sure an aftermarket exhaust could fix that too. But definitely a fun car. For the price, you're getting a fun car. I wish it had a little bit more power, but so far, no complaints with it. So back from our test drives now with the S3 and the WRX. I know those were short test drives. Again, I have the full detailed reviews if you want to see more driving impressions. My brother's also owned an A3, S3, and currently owns an RS3. So if you want to see some of the content surrounding those and the modifications that you can do, we have a full Audi playlist where you can view that. For the WRX with this press vehicle, we're also going to take it to the mountains so we can really test its performance and how well this vehicle does through the twisty roads. I know it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun, but both of these are sporty, smaller size sedans that have a lot to offer. If you want something that's going to be a lot more luxury focused with all the premium materials, you go with the Audi. If you want more of that tuner car, you go with the WRX. Now, both of these, again, they're going to be fun. Just depends on if you want the manual or you want that automatic. You also have a lot of modding potential for both of these, and it really just depends on which one you like more, if you want that enthusiast manual or you want the quick shifts from the Audi. So comment down below, let me know, would you rather go Audi or Subaru for a similar price? Let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.